Well, hello there.
Hi.
It's PodBros.
It is indeed PodBros.
It is Thursday, December 26th, the day after Christmas. And I'm sad. Because it's the day after Christmas. And I have to wait a whole another 364 days for another Christmas.
No. You have to wait a whole nother 365 days. Because next year's a leap year.
Lame leap year. Well, I guess it's not too bad. Anyway, we are PodBros. We are on Podbean. We are on Spotify, Google Play, iTunes. You know, the stuff where you get your podcast from. And it's the Thursday show, and who knows what the heck we're going to talk about today. But I read a story about a blonde. So there was a blonde that was driving home, after a basketball game or something.
Okay.
Got caught in a really bad hailstorm, and her car was covered with dents. So the next day she took it to the repair shop, and the shop owner saw that she was a blonde, and they decided to have some fun. And he told her to go home and to blow on the tailpipe really hard, and the dents would pop out. So the blonde went home, got down behind the car, and started to blow into her tailpipe. Nothing happened, so she blew really, really, really hard, and still nothing happened. And so her roommate came in and said, "What are you doing?" And the first blonde told her what the repairman had said, had instructed her to blow on the tailpipe in order to get the dents popped out. And the roommate rolled her eyes and was like, "Duh! You have to roll the windows up first."
That's funny.
Oh, man.
So, what'd you get for Christmas?
I get some good stuff. It's not about the getting, it's about the giving.
So what'd you get for Christmas?
It's not about the giving, it's about the getting.
So what'd you get for Christmas?
It's not about the getting, it's about the giving.
I've
now switched back and forth.
We can do this all day.
We could.
What'd you get for Christmas?
What did you get for Christmas?
No. What did you get for Christmas?
Actually, I got this microphone that I'm talking on right now.
Yeah, we've been over that already. What else did you get for Christmas?
Nope, that's it. That's all I'm sharing. I'm not sharing anything. Oh, actually, I'm wearing these really nice slippers. They're soft on my feet.
Did you get any cool gifts for Christmas?
I got some good stuff. Why?
Talk about it.
I mean, I don't know. I got a really cool shirt. Mom got me that shirt. I like those, I don't know, are they Hawaiian style? Maybe is the best way to put it. They've got the tropical. They've got the designs down each side, and they're button up. And she bought me one that is my size and is super comfortable and black, which is my favorite color.
That's nice.
It's nice. You know, the air feels like Jell-O. I got a Minion mug from this guy.
You got 2 Minion mugs, actually.
Yeah, 2 Minion. Well, one of them was already mine.
No, the one that's yours is still at my house. I gave you the one that was mine.
You're so ridiculous. I got inundated with gnome stuff again. Apparently, everybody thinks the gnome thing is funny.
There's gnome end in sight.
Unfortunately. Anyway.
There's gnome stopping them now. No one saw that coming.
Are you done?
Nobody knows the trouble you've seen?
Nobody knows.
But you know what's nice, though, Luke? Is that you actually live in a nice house. Because a home is not a home without a gnome.
Wow. Anyways, moving on. I am not a gnome.
But people like giving you gnomes, though.
They do.
What?
I don't know. What did you get for Christmas?
I got some pretty cool stuff. Definitely the ship in the bottle was pretty legit that I got. I actually built that yesterday. It was a Lego ship in a bottle that you had to build the bottle and build the ship.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
It was pretty boss. I also got some awesome shirts, which is always good. I got a miniature replica of the Declaration of Independence.
That is actually really cool,
Which was
too.
pretty boss. And then I got a can opener, an electric can opener, which was pretty sweet.
Can openers are always good.
Especially electric ones because they have a built-in knife sharpener on them too.
Yep, indeed.
So, yeah, and a bunch of other cool stuff, but I would say overall it was a pretty good haul.
Yep.
I gave some super lame gifts this year. I felt. I don't know.
I kind of felt bad about
I was
the gifts
not
I gave,
I was
but
not inspired by my gifts this year. Normally I'm like super excited to give the gifts that I'm giving. And this year was just kind of like you know, just kind of like
Yeah.
So I think the only gift that I really was like jazzed about giving was the mug that I gave you.
I wasn't
Although I was amazed by the reaction that I got from the gifts I gave.
yes. I actually was happy with the gifts I got. But I wasn't like overly thrilled.
With the gifts you got,
With
or the gifts
no,
you gave?
the gifts I gave. Sorry.
Okay.
The gifts I had gotten to give. I wasn't super thrilled with them, but I wasn't, I wasn't overly thrilled with them. I was like, so. I like to give gifts, and this year was a little tight. So,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
then of course the year before we kind of
Well, we outdid ourselves
we kind
because
of
we made
knocked
everything.
it out of the park the last year because we made it.
So yeah, no, I was amazed by people's reactions to the gifts I was giving. It was like they opened the present. It was like, wow, this is perfect, and it was like, oh, all right, well, cool. I'm glad that worked out because I felt uninspired,
Yeah.
But a lot of times that happens. You think a gift is going to be lame, and then it goes over with a big bang.
I did give one gift that was not received very well, and then when I explained the other gift I was going to give, the person was like, "Wow, I really had that," and I was like, "Great," and gave them the other one instead.
I'm still confused about why you did that in the first place. Why didn't you just give them the? Oh no, never mind. You told me why.
I felt lame about it.
No, because you didn't want to wrap it up,
It was too big.
which makes it extra lame.
That wasn't the only reason. It was just
Because
part of
I gave gifts that I wrapped in duct tape.
yes, and took everyone 20, 30 minutes to get them undone,
It's not as
except for me.
It's not as fun.
I got mine done quite quickly.
It's not as fun unless it takes time to open the gift. That's what it was. I gave lame gifts, but people were grateful to be done opening the present.
So they were very happy about the gift on the inside.
So this is the key to giving lame gifts.
I have a headache today. I have had one since about midnight last night. And, yeah, I have been, so my head is killing me. So if I'm not as talkative today, that's why.
We're also on the post-Christmas food comatose-ness, like Thanksgiving. Not as intense, but like Thanksgiving. We had ham and baked ziti. Well, baked spindly noodles, I think was what they're called, spindly noodles.
And it is the way my mom is going to make baked ziti from now on.
I'm kind of sad about that because I like ziti.
Eh.
I like ziti because it gets the ricotta gets inside the ziti.
The ziti, yeah.
And then it's like, what are those? What's that one thing called? That's the giant noodle. That's full of the
manicotti.
Stuff. Manicotti. It's like eating mini manicottis.
Manicottis.
Oh man, what if you made baked ziti with manicotti?
Ooh. See, I'm not fond of baked ziti personally. I prefer lasagna.
I love baked ziti, and I'm not a huge fan of lasagna. I don't like the way that a lot of times it gets burned on the edges.
Yeah, I don't like that, but I do like lasagna from the middle. A meat lasagna, a good meat lasagna where it's sliced real thin.
There's
and
also
piled high.
not for me. There's not
so
enough.
perky, I
There's
love
not
that.
enough ricotta on there.
There's never enough ricotta, or as Nanny would say, rigot. He said as he rolled his eyes, "My head is killing me right now. Oh my gosh."
It's because you have headphones pressing your head in right now.
What has 10 letters and starts with gas?
Runaway?
An automobile.
Oh, what?
Automobile. Automobile is 10
starts with
letters,
gas
but
and
an automobile
automobile?
starts with gas.
Oh, it starts with gas.
Oh, a lady asked a waiter, "What is this fly doing in my ice cream?" The waiter responded with, "Shivering, ma'am."
You know, the guy next to her, asked the waiter the same thing about his soup, and the waiter replied, "Looks like the backstroke, sir."
Indeed.
So I have another question, and this is slightly not slightly. This is I'm making a cultural observation. in
Cultural
this joke.
observation.
How many Germans does it take to screw in a light bulb?
9!
Now, typically that is the joke, right? Is to say 9.
Okay.
But the answer is just 1. They're very efficient and not very funny.
Don't make me laugh. My head hurts.
Laughter is good. It'll make your head feel better after a little while. I thought you took drugs.
I did take drugs. They're not working.
How many did you take?
4?
Good Lord, man. This is why you're not supposed to do drugs. Because they're not
do
as
drugs,
effective.
kids, because
Then they're not as effective when you have a headache.
a tolerance for them. Hey, aren't we going to go see a movie today?
Are we?
Yeah, I think we're going to go see
I don't think so.
Spies in Disguise. I like animated movies. Do you like animated movies?
I love animated movies.
Okay, yeah, me too. I love animated movies. I prefer animated movies, actually. Have you seen Abominable yet?
I have not. You know what
good.
I really like? I like
have
when they put them both together.
Animated and live action?
Animated live action movies.
How does that work?
Avatar was like that.
Oh, where it's just such high quality CGI that it looks like a live action, but it's actually animated?
But it's actually animated.
yeah, I like that too.
Because I think that as far with Avatar, I think 3/4 of the movie was animated.
Yeah. Yeah, a good chunk of it.
A good portion of it was animated. And even parts where the actors were acting and you saw their face was actually animated sequences.
Right.
In certain cases.
Right.
So.
And they had the dots.
Yep, the dots.
On the faces and everything.
The face dots.
I want to tell this joke, but it's not appropriate for the air, so I'm going to not tell it.
Cool, thanks.
You're welcome.
So since I told a German joke, can I tell another joke that's a little bit off color?
Of course.
I mean, as far as like being like one might consider being racist.
Oh, but people know that we're not racist, so go ahead.
How many black people does it take to screw in a light bulb? Wait, that's not the joke.
I don't know. How many black people does it take to screw in a light bulb?
Crap.
Or were you meaning to ask, how many police officers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
No.
Or how many light bulbs does it take to...
No, that's not it either. I think it was the second one. How many police officers does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know. How many?
None. They just beat the room for being black. I know that there's one that has to do with black people screwing in a light bulb.
I don't know that I've ever heard one.
And it's very funny because it's not racist at all. It starts off sounding like it's going to be racist,
But
and
it's
then
not.
it's not. But I can't remember it right now.
How many black people does it take to screw in a light bulb? Usually just 2. One to hold the ladder and the other one to screw it in.
No, it's one to put the Velcro on the ceiling and the other one to screw it in.
Wow. Well, if that was the joke, that was super racist.
It was super racist.
Oh, and we apologize because we're actually not racist people at all.
We just find that
I just find Racist jokes funny.
Cultural extremes humorous.
Indeed. Oh, happy Kwanzaa.
It is Kwanzaa. Speaking of black people, it is Kwanzaa.
I know, that's why we're telling black jokes today. I actually have a couple of black friends.
How many Canadians does it take to screw in a light bulb?
I don't know.
No one knows. They're all just still in the room apologizing to each other for being dark. Oh, sorry about that light going out, okay, big guy? Sorry about that. Could you get that replaced? Oh, yeah, sure, no problem. Let me go get a ladder. Oh, excuse me, sorry. What is everyone doing in here? Don't make me laugh. My head hurts. Where'd that German guy go? He's really good at screwing in those light bulbs. Oh, sorry about that, big guy. I didn't mean to offend you.
Oh, sorry.
I know you guys are very efficient.
Oh, sorry about.
Sorry. Sorry, guys. Sorry.
Hey, sorry. Oh man, that's funny.
So, since we're kind of just
dragging right now,
wallowing here, we're kind of like we're in the middle of a waveless pond with no oars.
Oh,
we're just kind of stuck here right now. So let's talk about the weather.
I'll talk about the weather, and then I want to talk about this new gun that I read about.
Ooh, fun. So right now it says that it's light rain, but it wasn't raining when I came in earlier.
You're a light rain.
So maybe it's raining in a different area of Prescott than where we are. Because we're in the Prescott area, I should say. Temperature, 43 degrees. The dew point is 32 degrees with a 65% humidity. And it looks like... That's weird. It says the high today will be 40, but it's 43 degrees. And then tomorrow it's going to get a little colder, and then it's going to get warmer. And then they're still calling for snow on Monday and Tuesday morning. And then nothing for New Year's. So they are really striking out with this snowstorm. You know, they called for like 70% chance of snow on yesterday, and it was no snow at all.
Yeah,
I mean we got the shredded wheat, frosted mini wheats outside. That was about it, and it was very light, and it melted right away. So yeah, there's the weather. I kind of wish it would snow.
Yeah. I mean, I like the snow, but, I guess it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
So, you want me to read about this? So, check this out. This is a new gun. So, big rifle, big bullet, and a big bang. The Anzio 20mm sniper rifle.
Dang, man. It's huge.
So, the whole goal of this is to push the limit of precision fire from 2,000 yards to 3,500 yards. It's a mag-fed. The price is like surprisingly not as much as I was expecting it to be. It's $11,900.
No, a new car.
However, you don't want to go hunting with this because it would, like, a 750-pound bull elk would just obliterate it.
It would obliterate the gun?
It would obliterate the elk.
Oh, the round one.
Yeah.
Okay. So
the
elk wouldn't obliterate the gun.
20mm. I mean, that's
pretty big.
That's massive. I can't, Anyway, it's pretty good.
So it's essentially like a gun like that would be not an anti-personnel weapon. It'd be more like an anti-vehicle weapon.
Like an anti-tank weapon or something like that.
Because on the A10, the Warthog,
yeah,
the A10 Thunderbolt, it has a 33mm fixed mounted Gatling gun on the bottom of it that they use for it's a anti-tank weapon.
Right.
So, you ever seen one of those things go off?
No.
It's pretty cool. That's why they have those giant engines on the back of those planes. Because it'll actually push the plane backwards.
Really?
Yeah, because of how powerful it is when it fires. So, And if it's a skilled enough pilot, they can actually do some dogfighting with it, but it's very difficult because it's really not designed to be a. It's not a dogfighting plane. It's more of a bomber kind of support fighter type thing. I know the Army uses them a lot. They use them for doing airstrikes where they'll fly through and create cover fire for an area or something like that.
Yeah.
Because of their heavy ground ordnance that they carry. So, cool plane though. Very cool plane.
Speaking of cool planes, are they coming out with any new planes? I mean, I don't know. I've seen some stuff.
I don't know. The F-35 was the last one that I saw as far as military craft go, and that was during Obama's presidency, and it didn't get as much traction as I think they were expecting it to. But I mean, that's the nature of the beast when you're producing military aircraft during a period of time with somebody like Obama in office.
Right.
Right. I think that they're using them more now, but there is a new helicopter that's being manufactured.
Really?
That is going to replace the helicopters that they use for Marine One.
Ooh.
I was just reading about that when Trump did his 4th of July military expose, or whatever you want to call that, his military on display thing, where he was showing off all those aircraft.
Uh-huh.
I think one of those aircraft that flew past is the model for the one they're going to replace Marine One with.
Interesting.
So it's because Marine One is an older helicopter, and it's gonna. Excuse me, sorry about that.
Well, that was loud. Who is it?
It's Uncle Joey. Hold on a sec. Let me walk into the other room.
Just hit pause.
So, sorry about that. I know that wasn't really a pause on the podcast, but we did pause the podcast so I could answer that phone call. That was my uncle. He has he owns a
local landscaping and
lot
cleaning business.
Earth Shapers and Lots Cleaner. And so he gives us a call when there's snow in the forecast so that we go and help him shovel because he does the hospitals.
Indeed.
The hospitals have to be
kept clean.
They have to be accessible, especially during a snowstorm. It's very dangerous if you don't have that available. So anyway, accessible. So anyway, so this new aircraft is going to be pretty legit because it's got all sorts of new upgraded defense technology and defensive stuff like flares and anti ordnance, anti lock-on ordnance and stuff like that. So countermeasures, that's what it is. Countermeasures. Right. It has countermeasures. So special countermeasures and all sorts of crazy stuff. Which will be cool. So that's that's the only one I've heard of. I think that there might be, you know what? There is. But I don't know anything about any of it because it's all brand new. But there was a little thing I read about when Trump officially announced SpaceX. Or not SpaceX, Space Force.
Space Force?
The Space Force.
Which is now the official sixth branch of the military.
Of the military, yeah, that's correct. There was a little thing down at the bottom that they were in the process of designing all sorts of new weapons and space vehicles. So, I mean, you think about it, it's only logical if we're going to be going into space
mm-hmm.
and having to do combat in space,
mm-hmm.
that you're going to need weapons that can fire in a vacuum and weapons that will function and can be worked on with big, thick, heavy gloves that you're using and special armor that you would have to design for your soldiers because you're in the vacuum of space, and if you have a puncture, you could die from the vacuum. And then, of course, things like being on the moon, because I'm sure that'll be a factor at some point, space pirates or whatever, is having the vehicles and technology for functioning effectively on the moon, or even on Mars for that matter, without being entirely exposed. which I think in that movie, Ad Astra, is that what it was called?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
There's a scene where they've populated the moon or whatever to a certain extent, and the guy's sending a message to his dad. But to get to the base that they're at, they go through like this big open area and they get attacked by space pirates.
Right.
And the first thing I thought of was, if they were at this point, why would they be using like a moon rover, like an open moon rover like they had back in the 60s? Why wouldn't they be in like some sort of Humvee type vehicle with a mounted gun and some sort of, I mean, you're on the moon. There's tons of satellites around the moon. It wouldn't be that implausible to have like a, they're traveling from one base to another. They have a satellite over them or whatever, especially if they're moving critical cargo.
Right.
Which is what they use.
Yeah, important cargo.
Important cargo, which is what they use as a term for moving personnel and stuff like that. So, it's the bottom of the hour.
Hey, bottom of the hour.
This is PodBros, a production of Sound Bros Productions. Productions.
We are on Facebook, iTunes, Spotify, Podbean. All the good ones.
YouTube.
Google
Play.
Google Play.
I don't know what that is.
It's kind of cool.
Okay, anyway, so, it's fun. We're both, like, exhausted right now.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm, like, feeling it.
I'm dying here.
I am seriously pooped right now.
I am pooped. And there we go, talking about poop again.
No. Talking about being pooped, not... It's completely different. Come on, man. Don't you know the English language? You've been speaking it your whole life.
Yeah, that's why I don't know it. It's all different.
I guess. The English language is kind of crazy. It's like a combination of like 3 or 4 different languages. Primarily Latin and German. As a matter of fact, the English language is between 55 and 65% in German. And then Latin, and you have a bit of Gaelic in there, and Celtic in there, mixed in with some of the words. And then an array of direct words from Latin, and then Latin-based languages like French and Spanish and Italian and stuff like that. So,
here's a fun, unique story for you.
English is like that guy who lures someone into a back alley and then beats them over the head and goes through their pockets for loose vowels. Which is great for people coming...
I feel bad for everybody listening to today's show. I really do.
Why?
Because we're just dragging. I'm dragging.
I feel bad for people that have to come and learn English for the first time. It's like, oh, yeah, you're going from this nice structured language.
Well, they know that there will be something there.
Yeah, I don't think they entirely know.
They're going to understand it.
Because there are some people that are like...
There.
Weather.
Weather? He popped up on the last one.
Well, sometimes
Can I tell my cute story?
Whether or not weather happens.
Which is which?
2, 2, and 2.
Oh, good grief.
Which is actually 3 of those.
Bob. Flying home on Southwest Airlines tonight,
weather.
The flight attendant announced that a young girl was celebrating her 8th birthday.
Ooh, fun.
They asked all the rows to push the call lights, and we all sang happy birthday, so that all the call lights were lit up.
Oh, nice.
And then they told her to make a wish and count to 3 and blow out the candle lights. And we all turned them off at the same time.
That's awesome.
Yay. Love their creativity. That's awesome. That was really cool. Do you like eggs?
Do you like apples?
How do you like them apples?
Yes, I do like eggs, actually.
So, when the picture says the world's ugliest baby, you have to push the button.
No, you don't.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't. There's this really cool thing called restraint.
Nope, I don't have it when it comes to internet stuff. Quick, click me, and I'm like, let's
the ugliest baby ever in the world. These pictures may be shocking.
Oh, it's an upside down mouth prank.
Dumb. dumb. And this is the reason why I said you have to have restraint. Okay. Enough of that.
How do I turn it off? How do I make it stop?
Oh, you're on
there we
an
go.
iPad. I don't know how that works.
Okay. Here's a fun question. What is your favorite mythological animal? Like if there was a fantasy animal or a mythological animal that's in like novels or literature that somebody's come up with, and you could have one as a pet.
As a pet?
Or a pet or a,
Or I could be one.
Oh, that's two different questions. Let's start with as a pet.
Well, if it's as a pet, then I would want a minotaur.
Minotaur?
Hands down.
Okay, now explain what a minotaur is.
So a minotaur is a half human, half bull.
Okay. So the front is from the waist up is
a
human,
bull, and the bottom is
human.
No, the top is a bull. The bottom.
The top is a bull. The bottom is human. That's right. That's right. Okay.
Depending on which mythology you're reading, though, because there are multiple mythologies.
Okay, and why that? And why that one particularly?
So, bulls, at least as far as minotaurs go, minotaurs are like the ultimate defenders of things.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So it would be like, if I could have one as a pet, I would keep it in my house, and it'd be like, defend the keep while I'm gone.
Right.
And then someone shows up on a quest and they defeat them.
Right. Okay.
So, now, with that being said, if we were living in a mythological land and you could pick between ones, I would want a minotaur to be like a house guard, like a guard dog.
Right.
But if I was if I was using one for the functionality of it, either a Pegasus or a unicorn.
Pegasus or unicorn? I would want a griffin.
A griffin?
Yeah, the half
lion, half eagle.
Eagle.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see a griffin being useful.
Griffins are pretty cool.
The only thing the reason I said a centaur, not a centaur.
See, I like centaurs too.
Centaurs are cool, but that's the other question. If you were going to be a mythological animal,
if I was to be a mythological,
I would say a centaur.
A centaur with the ability to run,
because at least as far as the way centaurs are described in the Chronicles of Narnia,
right?
A centaur in the Chronicles of Narnia, because he describes a centaur in the Silver Chair,
right?
And he described at the end of the Silver Chair, they ride back to Narnia. They ride from one place to another in Narnia on the backs of centaurs,
which is just awesome.
And it describes the horse part of the centaur as like a thoroughbred, like a British thoroughbred horse.
Okay,
which is, if you know anything about European horses,
they're awesome.
British thoroughbred horses are like a combination between Spanish horses and horses from the British Islands, and they're like, the only thing that's better than that is like Persian horses.
In regards to speed and agility.
In strength and speed and power between the two of them. Well, no, as far as speed goes, the Persian horses are better.
Right.
Persian horses are way faster, but they're not nearly as big. The English thoroughbred horses are much bigger, much stronger animals. It's part of the reason why in the Middle Ages the weaponry and technology moved towards a heavier army, like a knight with a full body armor suit with chainmail and a giant lance and a shield, because you had these giant beast horses, massive beast horses, compared to like a Persian horse, which is somewhat of a lighter horse. They're much more deadly over distance because they're faster.
Okay, so the top 10, since we're on the subject now.
Well, let me finish though.
Okay,
let me finish explaining.
Okay.
So then he talks. So it's a British thoroughbred horse, and then on top it's like a small giant.
Oh, okay.
So centaurs are like, at least in the Chronicles of Narnia, which in most mythology centaurs are evil.
In the Chronicles of Narnia, they're good.
They're not. In the Chronicles of Narnia, they're the good guys. So anyway, go ahead. Top 10.
So the top 10 largest horses in the world. Fjord. He weighs 1,100 pounds.
Holy cow.
His height is 15 hands.
Dang.
So a hand is 4 inches. So that's
4 inches?
yeah,
Oh, this way. Not a span.
yeah. No,
Okay.
15 hands.
Okay.
He's a draft horse apparently, and his country of origin is Norway. He's pretty big.
So yeah, it's that
Dole.
European. It's the European horses, right?
Dole. That was the number 10 on the list.
Oh, that was
So
the
they're gonna
smallest. Yeah,
that was the smallest.
Okay.
Dole is 1,500 pounds. His height is 16 hands, and his country of origin is Norway.
So wait, 16 hands. So 4 inches. 4 times 16 is 60 inches.
Yeah, so he's taller than I am.
No.
Almost 6 feet.
More
That's
than
at the
60
shoulder.
More than 60 inches. It's 64 inches.
So, Russian heavy draft. His weight is 1,500 pounds, and he weighs 50, and his height is 15 hands. Country of origin is Russia. He's a very majestic looking horse. A Dutch draft, 1,600 pounds, 16 hands from the Netherlands.
So that's 64 inches for those of you who are
Good
are pitching.
Lord of holy. The American Cream is 1,800 pounds, 16 hands high, and the origin is here in the U.S.
So just to qualify here, America doesn't have horses naturally.
Oh my gosh.
Horses that are in America were brought here from Europe.
Right.
So most American horses are all from Europe. So they're either Spanish or English or
Some mixed in
Norwegian
there,
or
okay.
whatever.
Number
So,
5
just to clarify,
is the Belgian draft. Height, its weight is 1,900 pounds.
dadgum, it's almost a ton.
Height is 17 hands.
Holy moly, that's
Country of origin is Belgium.
68 inches. So let's do
it's
some.
getting big. They're getting bigger.
Let's do some perspective here. So
Okay.
what is 68 inches?
My
60
ladder in my
60
house.
60 inches is, 5 feet, right? Good God, man. This is why we don't record with video. So 60 inches is 5 feet, right? Because it's 12 times 5 is 60.
Right. Yes.
So 68 inches is just
under 6 foot.
just under 6 foot.
That's a massive horse.
So these are huge freaking horses.
Okay. The Suffolk Punch. Height 17 hands.
Okay.
Type of horses draft. Country of origin is England.
Okay.
Do you want to know how much it weighs?
I do.
2,200 pounds.
Holy crap. 200 pounds over a ton.
Oh my goodness, it's massive. All right, and now you have your Clydesdale,
Right.
right, which is 2,000 pounds, 18 hands.
Okay, so 18 hands is 72 inches. So we're now at 6 feet.
And their origin is in Scotland.
Okay.
Okay, and then that was really?
What? What happened?
Oh, come on.
What happened?
The page decided to reload
Ha!
because Apple sucks. I hate Apple.
Simmer down. Simmer down.
Okay, I'm all right. I'm okay. Okay, so that was number 3 on the list. Number 2 is a Percheron. Height at 18 hands.
So 70,
6 feet.
76 inches.
Yep. Weighs 2,600 pounds.
Holy crap.
Lord have mercy.
Where's it from?
And it is from France.
Okay.
All right. And the number 1 biggest,
All right. We're ready.
the Shire.
Ah? Don't be hasty.
2,600 pounds,
Okay.
18 hands.
Okay, so we're at 36, sorry.
Yeah.
No, 32, sorry. Not 36.
32 what?
70. Yeah, anyway, continue, sorry.
Numbers. It is a draft show horse, and it is from the United Kingdom.
Thank you for proving my point as
God,
to
that's
what
a
I was saying
massive
before about
horse.
horses.
One of the Shire's main occupations in the UK was hauling bottles of beer.
That makes sense.
Many famous breweries used horses, and some still use them as promotional tools.
Hence the Clydesdale.
Well,
Right?
that's what I compare to. Okay, to even be considered a Shire by the UK Shire Horse Society, a stallion must be at least 17 hands. The largest horse ever recorded was a Shire that lived in the 19th century, standing 21.25 hands.
Okay, 21 hands, that's over 80 inches. 21 would be 84 inches, so 0.25, so 85 inches, 86.
Okay,
no,
which is
yeah,
how many
85
feet?
inches. So, 72, 84. So 7 feet.
7 foot 8 inches.
7 foot 8 inches, yep.
And weighing.
I did that without a calculator, by the way.
You did, and I didn't, so whatever.
Just saying.
7 feet and weighing 3,360
moly.
pounds.
That's almost 2 tons.
That is a massive horse. Could you imagine being the poor guy that had to teach that horse that it was okay to have a rider? Don't get bucked off, bro. If this one steps on you, you ain't going to survive.
Oh, it was probably a big baby.
It probably was. So you got to break those horses soon. Quick. It's a foal. Break it now.
Yeah. Well, you've told stories about that. You used to work on a ranch.
I did. I used to work on I used to work on our friend Twister's ranch down in
What
Congress.
ranch is that? Is it the Exo Ranch?
I think so. I don't know. I don't know the name of it.
But he used to. You said he used to break horses, right? You used to help him break horses.
He still breaks horses. Yep. I was more just a ranch hand. I didn't actually do. I mean, he would put me in the ring, and like I would teach the horse. Like I would put the bridle on it and run it in circles with a long whip. And
oh, so you didn't actually do the thing where you like rode on the
no, and then he would have you. You know, you put the saddle on it, and you
foal?
ride it around
The
the
new
saddle.
foal? You never broke
and
a new
then
foal?
No, you can't. You got to be careful with them because they're so delicate when they're small like that.
the bucking and crazy and stuff.
I did get bucked. I got bucked a few times. But you get up there.
What I'm looking for is, did you experience anything that's shown in a movie?
Yeah, where I got bucked into a barbed wire fence.
No, where it's like they get the horse and it's all and it's like pulling away from the rope, and then the guy jumps on and he like rides it around for like several minutes,
Yeah,
and then
it
the
is-
horse tires itself out.
It's not how it works.
Okay, so
They don't get tired out that fast. First, second, it takes a whole long time before you even put a saddle on a horse.
what I'm trying to is get through the image of the fiction of Hollywood to see the reality of horse breaking.
Now, the reality of horse breaking is that you start with just getting the bridle on it, then the bit in its mouth, then the saddle on it, and you have to get it used to wearing a saddle. A lot of horses, as soon as you put a saddle on their back, they'll buck with just the saddle.
Okay.
And so you have to get them. So you ride them
I'm
with
curious
just
about
the saddle and nothing
so
on
I'm
it.
curious about something else then. Let me ask you this.
This is, by the way, this is a very limited amount of knowledge that I have because I didn't do it for that long.
But you still did it though, so you still
I
have
did.
more knowledge than I have.
I did do it, yes.
Which is the point of one of
Learning
the things we
something.
talk about learning something is you ask
You
someone who's
always
actually
learn.
done it.
Yeah.
So so I'm going to ask this question because this is one of my favorite stories is Ben-Hur,
Yes.
the Tale of the Christ.
Yes.
In Ben-Hur,
Which we have a friend who posted on our page, No More Ben-Hur, but it's a great movie, so
who said no more Ben-Hur?
I'll tell you later.
Oh, okay. Wait, we didn't even talk about Ben-Hur that
I know,
much.
we really didn't actually talk about Ben-Hur very much at all.
And
Anyway,
I'm not
continue.
even talking about the movie because I personally think the movie wasn't very good.
The new one or the old one?
I thought the new one was trash. The old one I didn't like very much.
Really? Because of the story.
Once you read the book,
It's ruined.
you're
for me.
like, why didn't they just tell the story in the book? You spent 3.5 hours and you could have just told the story.
Yeah, true. Anyway, question.
Anyway, so in the book, because in the movie he doesn't do this. The crap is going on with my hands right now.
So I pointed to my watch, asking Nick what the time was, and Nick went to put up 43 minutes, and his hand spazzed out. He looked like he was having a seizure.
That was the weirdest thing ever.
How did you do that?
I don't even know. Anyway, whatever. So anyways,
The reason I pointed to the clock is because we might actually have to end this show and have it be a little bit shorter of a show because we have to get to the bank before they close.
oh yeah,
And we are running on time.
we're fine. We got plenty of time for that.
Continue.
So in the movie, they actually do have a bit and a bridle for the 4-horse chariot that he rides in the movie. In the story, however, the character of Ben-Hur, who is named Young Arius, because he is, if you know the story, he's adopted by the Duumvir of Rome for saving his life during battle.
Oh, okay, yes.
And so he learns how to be a charioteer in the Circus Maximus in Rome. And he's so good at at riding horses, and he's like a master at husbandry.
Indeed.
Which is
being a husband?
No, husbandry is horses. Dealing with horses. It's actually the root word of chivalry, is husbandry.
Ah.
Which explains a lot about dealing with women. You know, you can't really sneak up behind them or they'll kick you in the stomach. Gotta kind of come up from the front. Here's a sugar cube.
You got to work that bit in real nice into the mouth.
I wasn't going to go that far, but... Anyway.
Pause. Silence. Keep the, don't let her get a hold of the whip, otherwise she'll beat you with it. Or run you over, trample you.
Or buck you out of the saddle? No. The analogy only goes to the getting kicked in the stomach when you walk up behind her. So anyway,
This is what happens when we're both exhausted. We are not comparing women to horses. Did you see the mane on that one? Oh, that's a Clydesdale. Whoa, Bessie.
dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh man.
So anyway, in the story,
Merry Christmas, honey. I got you a saddle. And just like horses, if you don't treat your horse with your wife with respect,
just stop now.
I can't.
There's no recovering from this. Just stop. There's no recovering from this. There's no way to bring an analogy out of this. It's just gonna be worse.
I said Trojan horse.
You're just digging a hole. We're getting deeper and deeper. No, don't worry. We'll dig ourselves out. Hello.
And unlike the
hello.
charioteers, you can't have more than one.
Gosh, man.
Well, it depends on your religion, I guess.
Yeah, Mormons.
Mormons, they
I think Muslims have more than one also.
Muslims do
Depending
have
on
more
what.
than one.
Depending on what.
Yeah, you got to be careful though, because you never know what you're going to get with those. They have the mask on.
Yeah. I hear that with Indian women, you scratch off the little thing and you see if you get a convenience store or a hotel.
Stupid. Indian women.
Yeah.
Oh, dot. No
Dot
feather.
Indian, not feather.
Got it. This show is horribly racist.
Well, at least we've covered all of our we've covered most of them anyways.
Yeah.
We haven't made any jokes about people that see in widescreen. Yeah.
Oh, our cousins. Yeah.
You know, who are from the far eastern part of Asia.
Okay. Finish telling your horse story. Horse story.
Horse story. Anyway, so in the book, he rides the horse. He has the chariots, but he doesn't use bits. He only uses bridles.
Yes.
So how
Can you train a horse to do that? Yes.
and that usually has to do with
The horse's temperament.
and the horse never having a bridle, right?
No. You can train a horse.
Or no bit, I mean.
You can train a horse to use a bridle only, and you can do it, from my understanding, you can do it, because I had a couple of horses that were called what we call neck reined, and that basically means is as soon as you lay the rein on the side of their neck, they'll go that direction.
Okay.
And so you don't actually have to pull on their mouth at all. But it mostly, from my understanding and my experience, which, like I said, is very limited, it mostly depends on the temperament of the horse.
Of the horse, okay.
Some horses require a very sharp, very strong bit because they will fight it all the time, no matter what. Even after they've been broken. There were a number of horses that we would go on rides with, and they'd be like, all right, who's the most experienced cowboy here? And it, of course, was never me. I was very new, within weeks of new.
And they would put you on
and
that
they would
horse?
take somebody else,
Oh,
and
okay.
they'd put him on that horse because the horse would get it in its head halfway down the trail ride to buck the rider off.
Okay.
Out in the middle of, on the side of a cliff or whatever, and the horse would start to, stomp and buck, and you'd have to control with that bit and
Okay.
keep them under control. Most of the horses I rode had been neck reined and were light and were very, very gentle, and were okay. And then they particularly the ones I rode loved to run. And we would get a horse in you'd get into an open field. And if the horse had shoes and they'd been shod, oh my gosh, you get them to run and they'd get into like a trot and then a gallop. And then I don't know if you've ever seen a horse in a flat run. Mm-hmm. Oh my, so much fun on the back of a horse riding at flat run, especially when your friends.
With a horse, you can get it to like 40 miles, 50 miles an hour with a horse, right?
Flying. I don't know how fast we were going, but
I think they've actually tracked horses at like 50 plus miles an hour.
But when you're on the back of this horse and their legs
in
are
a flat run,
their legs are in a flat, stretched out, and they are just, they're skimming across the ground, and you're just, it's exhilarating. It is exhilarating.
That's cool, man. That's really cool. So, what about this then? Because in the book, he also talks about by the time he's ready for the race, he's gotten to the point where they answer to his voice.
If you spend a lot of time with a horse, and you're the only one,
Okay.
and you are the trainer, and the thing about Ben-Hur and that particular story is that those Arabian horses, that is very accurate.
And those are Persian horses.
Those
though.
are Persian horses, and they are family. They were family to them.
Okay,
It was they were more than just an animal that was owned. They were what we would consider a pet or a family member.
Well, and I know that they kept them in the tents.
They kept them in the tents. They slept with them. Like the horses, they treated them essentially like you would treat, like people today's day and age treat their dog. Like they came in the house, they ate at your table with you. Mm-hmm. If you sat down to entertain, your horses were there with you.
Right.
They were a working animal, but they were very well cared for. In that time period,
they weren't working an animal. They weren't a working animal.
Well, a working animal in regards to the chariot.
Right, but that was it though. They didn't use them for transport,
and
they used camels for transport.
Correct, and specifically those horses, he never whipped those horses.
Right,
they were never disciplined in that way. It was always with a loving hand, and so
that was the next question I was going to ask you. Was in the story at the end when Masala whips his horses and they get spooked.
They would have lost it at that.
Okay.
And pain like that, where you know, and at the same time, those horses would have had to have had the temperament for that in the first place, which means they would have been handpicked,
Right.
by a master husbandry.
Right.
Husband
Well,
tour,
and
or
in
whatever you
the
wanna call
book,
it.
they're given very specific names.
They have specific
So,
names.
So
they are,
there's no doubt that they were probably picked and named on the spot.
yes, and they were so they were handpicked, and horses are incredibly intelligent animals.
Okay.
People seem to not think that, but horses know. They know things, they see things, they recognize stuff. A horse, there were times I was out with a horse and rider, and the horse would stop and back up, and I'd be like, come on, and he'd be like, they wouldn't go, and I would have to check, right? And it was like a hole, or, you know, the ground wasn't sturdy,
Or a snake or something like that?
or something
Yeah, okay.
along those lines, yeah. So they're intelligent, you know. They're they're intelligent in that
Well, and we
regard.
even see that in the Bible.
And so,
we see that in the Bible too with Balaam's donkey,
of course,
where the donkey's like, "I ain't going over there."
yeah,
And he's like, "What the heck?" And he's like,
nah, dude, you want to die? I don't want to die.
the
That's
angel-
a big dude.
"The angel of the Lord is over there, not an angel of the Lord. The angel of the Lord is
that
there."
means Jesus is standing right there.
And he's ready to.
And he's got a big sword. And my family members, I bet you that Balaam's donkey was in the line of the donkey that carried Jesus on Palm Sunday. I mean,
There you go.
I don't know, right? That we don't have that genealogy, but I'm just going to guess on that one and
go.
assume, you know. And so he's like, "Look, I don't want to go over there. You know, are you stupid? Quit hitting me."
Yeah, right.
So, but yeah, so horses. That's why you'll see cowboys wear spurs. Most of the time, I've seen some pretty sharp spurs that are gnarly, and I don't agree with those. I don't think they're right. Because like I said, my experience is very limited, very, very limited.
Right.
But I've talked to a lot of cowboys, and I haven't known very many that have met a horse that was so stubborn that it required,
That kind of spurring.
yeah, that's almost inhumane.
So,
not to say that is not something that has to happen.
So,
even horses like Ben-Hur's horses, where they were never disciplined with a whip, they were still disciplined.
Right, of course.
And a hand can do the job, and a bridle can pull the head in a direction that it doesn't want to go.
Right.
That is part of how it goes.
Well, and so separate from Ben-Hur, you're talking about Persian horses, or even horses from the steppes of Asia.
Correct.
Which is even further than Persia. We read about the Mongolians. They were all horseback.
Yep.
And they even would eat their horse. They would eat the horses and drink the blood of the horses
When they died and whatnot.
for
yes.
survival. So, was that a situation where I'm just thinking about this right now? I'm just kind of making maybe like a logical leap, where I'm saying maybe the horses that they ate first were the ones
the wild ones.
Were the wild
It's impossible. It's a possibility. This horse meat, because of horses are working animals and they have the muscle. Horse meat I've been told, is not that great. I've never actually had horse meat.
I've heard it's like beef jerky.
Okay, it's survivable. I mean, you definitely used for survival. They are big animals. They got a lot of meat on them.
I mean, the Mongolians conquered from China, from the South China Sea. Well, not from the South China Sea. They never actually fully conquered southern China. It's actually a very interesting story. If you ever want to do some research about weird areas of the world,
we will tell that story. Actually, we'll do some research and
we
we'll
should
tell that
actually.
story.
We should the
historical
southern China
sections of our show.
Southern China
We might do that tomorrow.
has never been conquered
That's awesome.
ever.
That's awesome. Well, we've got. I mean, where are we at on time? I think we're
just
there.
past an hour.
Okay, so we're there. So we got some cool stuff to come up with tomorrow. We have not procured a special guest yet.
I guessed yet, so we'll see.
So we're hoping to get one, but we haven't procured one yet. Yeah. But I've got some cool. I've got the largest spiders in the world.
Ooh.
Top 10. So we'll go over that definitely tomorrow.
And you can go over that over there, because I'm not a fan of pictures of spiders.
Yeah, no, the first picture was more than I wanted to handle.
I think the only
So
spider
I'm
that
gonna
I'm
be
okay
scanning through
with,
them quickly.
the only spider I'm ever okay with is a tarantula.
I like tarantulas.
I've actually held a tarantula in my hand
As
more
have
than
I.
once.
Yeah, they're
Tarantulas
pretty
are
cool.
actually phenomenal. Actually, for about 4 years, I had a tarantula living outside my house.
Really?
No bugs.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Like no.
No cockroaches.
Well,
no nothing.
cockroaches. There were still cockroaches because cockroaches are pretty heavy duty, but there were no moths
Yeah.
or gnats or anything like that fly around the lights because tarantulas eat them.
Yep. So this has been a production of Sound Bros Productions. We are PodBros. We thank you for listening. We're on everything.
Podbean,
We're on
iTunes,
everything. Just we're going to say everything.
Google Play,
Everything.
Spotify,
Just say everything.
and everything.
And everything. Looking to get ourselves off the ground with our recording studio. We're still working on that. If anybody has any suggestions or would like to help with that, let us know. We are still in the process of getting that Patreon up and running, and we will do that eventually. But as usual, as we normally end the show, we hope you learned something.
Because if you're not learning,
you're dying, and stay alive.
Also, Merry Day After Christmas and Happy Kwanzaa.
And Happy Kwanzaa and Happy New Year coming up soon.
Oh, yeah, that's coming up. And Happy Boxer Day for those of you.
Ooh, sorry. Yes, in Canada.
Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day,
Boxing
which
Day.
was
Today. In Canada.
In Canada. Bye.
Okay, bye.